tell everyone to turn their mics on.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, welcome to our July Board of Education meeting, and I hope everyone had a great kick-off of the great summer. And then before we get started, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please take a seat. Okay, so the first part of the meeting is the organizational meeting that we conduct at the July meeting, and the first item on the list will be the oath of office to be administered to re-elected board members, and for the term of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027, 3-year term. And then we have Ms. Koshia, Mr. Greco, and Dr. Park. Okay, and we'll have Kelly do that.
Greco. Solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And I will faithfully of the position of trustee. Of the Syosset Central School District. According to the best of my ability.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations. Congratulations, and we look forward to working together as a team. Okay, and the second one will be the oath of office to be administered to the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Rogers, and Ms.
I, Thomas Rogers, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of Superintendent of the Syosset Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. And the next item will be the election of President and Vice President of the Board of Education for 2024 and 2025 school year. And nominations will be accepted for the President position for the school year. Are there any nominations? Ms. Abramson?
I nominate Carol Chang.
Seconded by Dr. Park. Okay. Are there any more nominations? Mr. Rotolo.
Leadership qualities are attributes and characteristics that enable individuals to inspire, guide, and influence others towards goals and vision. Effective leaders possess a combination of personal traits, skills, and behavior that contributes to the ability to lead, motivate others. Some essential elements of a good and effective leader qualifies include vision, a clear sense of purpose and direction, along with the ability to articulate and communicate compelling visions for the future. Integrity, honesty, transparency, ethical behavior that are essential for the building of trust and credibility among team members and stakeholders. Communication, effective communication skills including active listening, clear articulation of ideas, and abilities to inspire and motivate others through the verbal and nonverbal communications. Empathy, understanding and valuing the perspective and emotions of others, demonstrating empathy towards team members to build a strong relationship and foster a positive environment. Decision-making, sound judgment, the ability to analyze situations, consider various alternatives, and make time to inform decisions that benefit the organization and all of its shareholders. Adaptation, the willingness to and ability to embrace change, adapt to new circumstances, lead through uncertainty and challenges with resilience and flexibility. Accountability, taking responsibility for one's actions and decisions, holding oneself and others accountable for results, and demonstrating a commitment to achieve shared goals. Inspiration, inspiring and motivating others through a positive attitude, passion of work, the ability to delegate responsibilities effectively while fostering a sense of ownership and autonomy amongst team members. Collaboration, valuing team members, fostering a culture of collaboration and inclusivity, and working together with others to achieve a shared objective and drives the organization's success. And continuous learning, a commitment to a personal and professional growth, seeking feedback, learning from failure, and developing a new skill to adopt and thrive in a challenging environment. I am honored to put forth the name of Lisa Koshia for this esteemed position of President of the Board of Education. Lisa exemplifies all of the essential leadership qualities that are crucial for steering our district towards excellence and success. Her kindness, compassion, and unwavering pride to our children shines through in everything that she does, making her a true advocate for our students, our district, and our community at large. Lisa's patience, respect, and integrity and empathy form the foundation of her leadership approach, guiding her interactions and decisions in a thoughtful and caring way. As a true teacher's teacher, she understands the importance of creating a supportive, inclusive, and transparent environment. Her infectious laugh, caring nature, and deep love for students for whom she considers her own children make her a beloved figure in our community. One of Lisa's standout qualities is her ability to get things done in an efficient and effective way. She is always organized, prepared, fair, and balanced in her approach to ensure that she represents the interest of everyone throughout the community. Working with Lisa is an absolute pleasure. Her dedication in serving the best interests of our students, staff, teacher, districts, and the whole community is unwavering. As a proven leader who has excelled at her role as past vice president, teacher, mom, and local business owner, she has demonstrated the capabilities to lead with vision, integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility towards our community. Her commitment to advancing the best interests of our students, staff, teachers, and districts as a whole is unquestionable, making her the ideal candidate for this role of president. I wholeheartedly endorse Lisa for the position of Board of Education president, and I urge our fellow board members to prioritize the best interest of our children, teachers, community by making this decision and moving our district forward. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any more nominations?
Need a second for this.
Oh, second by Ms. Levitan. Are there any more nominations? Okay, this closes the nominations. And, okay, so the item, appointment of President of Board of Education for the 2024, and this is for Carol Chang. All in favor? This is to vote on Carol Chang as the president of the board for the 2024-25 school year. All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that carries. Okay, and we are going to move on to the nominations for the VP position. Can I have a nomination, please? Dr. Park?
Nominate Brian Greco.
Mr. Ostrick? Are there any more nominations? Mr. Rotolo? Seconded by Ms. Levitan? Okay, are there any more nominations? Okay, this closes the nominations. Okay, and now is the appointment of Brian Greco as the VP of the Board of Education for 2024-2025 school year. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, that carries as well. Okay, all right. Sure.
I just wanted to put forth to the board as something that we could explore. I don't disagree that Lisa has a lot of great attributes that would make her a wonderful asset to a named member of the board, like a vice president or whatever name we can do. As a big board with a big district, would we benefit from having, they gave up on me, 3 named roles as opposed to a president and vice president, so that we can make things more efficiently done and help the effectiveness as we go through really big changes that we are looking to do this year? Is this something that we can explore?
Okay, we as a board could definitely explore that option, and then we will consult with the council, and then look into the policy, and then we can bring that back to the board. Okay.
Since we're sitting here at an organization meeting, why don't we ask Dr. Rogers if he could set that meeting up sooner than later and maybe get information from the lawyers as to what our options actually are?
All right. Are there any more questions? Okay. Thank you. So we will do the oath of office to the Board of Education President and the Okay, thank you. So continuing on with your organizational meeting, 4A, 4B, and 4C can be taken together. They are the appointment of district clerk and records officer. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Auric. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 5A, 5B, and 5C can be taken together. They are the appointment of the district treasurer, district deputy treasurer, and central treasurer. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 6 is the appointment of data protection officer. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Auric. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 7 is the approval of the readoption of required annual policies. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 8 is the appointment of the district chief School Physician Health-Related Services and Public Access Defibrillator Program. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 9 is the appointment of internal auditor. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 10 is the appointment of claims auditor. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 11 is the appointment of independent auditor. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12, 12A and 12B can be taken together. They are the appointment of the purchasing agent and assistant purchasing agents. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 13 is the appointment of attendance and residency officer. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14 is the appointment of asbestos officer, health and safety officer, and chemical hygiene officer. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Levitan, seconded by Mr. Arik. Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15 is the appointment of 504 ADA and Medicaid compliance officer. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 16 is the appointment of Title IX coordinators. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17A, 17B, and 17C can be taken together. They are the appointment of payroll certification officers. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 18 is the appointment of school officer to district and execution of budget transfers. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 19 is the appointment of transportation supervisor. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 20 is the authorization for board members, superintendent of schools, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 21 is the appointment of faculty auditor extra classroom activity account. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 22 is the authorization to waive fees for the use of facilities. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 23 is the designation of banks. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 24 is the designation of official newspaper. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 25 is the establishment of petty cash funds. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 26 is the establishment of mileage reimbursement. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 27 is the authorization for grant applications. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 28 is the authorization for signatories for the district. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 29 is the appointment of school district attorney. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 30 is the appointment of school district bond counsel. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 31 is the appointment of fiscal advisors. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 32 is the determination of school board meetings and public hearings. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrich. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 33 is the appointment of district architect. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? And now we are moving on to our monthly meeting, and we are going to have a public hearing on the district-wide school safety plan presentation by Ms. Erin Ghostway and our Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services, and also Adam Kuranishi, which is our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources.
So as Mr. Kuranishi and Ms. Goldthwait are making their way to the podium, I'll just introduce this by saying, obviously we take school safety very seriously here in Syosset. We've put a lot of energy and investment into school safety over the 10 years that I've been here, and in particular since 2018. So the responsibility falls to Mr. Kuranishi to do the planning and preparedness side of the work that's here. But more recently, we've decided to work closely on the prevention and intervention side of school safety, and that has involved doing more work with our mental health and mental wellness team, and that involves all of our pupil personnel service staff. And so Ms. Goldthwait has become part of this team as well in order to bring that aspect of the talent and skills that we have on our staff to bear on some of the safety concerns that we want to be proactive about. So they're a good team, a strong team, and I think the board will be pleased with the presentation.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to present on the district-wide school safety plan. In addition to my role in human resources, I also serve as the district's chief emergency officer, and so that's responsible for the communication and coordination of all aspects of the district and building level emergency response plans. School districts, as you know, are required to annually review their safety plans and make those plans available for public comment, so that's what we're doing here today. Our plans are established to provide for the health and safety and security of students, families, and staff, and allow for input from the community. These plans address prevention, response, and recovery with respect to potential emergencies that can occur in a district. Our district-wide school safety team met last month and reviewed the plan, and the district's plan was updated to include strategies that address new and anticipated regulations, which we will address today in the presentation. Additionally, we continue to collaborate with local law enforcement. Our partnership with emergency response agencies, especially the 2nd Precinct of the Nassau County Police, continues to be invaluable as we assess and improve our security measures. So our district security team corresponds with the Nassau County Police and the Department of Homeland Security at least once a week for guidance, consultation, and assessment. Lastly, an important component of our plan continues to be our effort to support and train staff and students on conflict resolution, peer mediation, and threat assessment. Last year, we were fortunate that you, the board, approved the addition of a full-time social worker in each of our 7 elementary schools. For the upcoming school year, we hired an additional guidance counselor for the high school. Our social workers, counselors, psychologists, and wellness teams support schools in implementing strategies and programs that help make our campuses safer. My colleague, Ms. Goldthwait, joins me at the podium tonight to discuss regulations that relate to threat assessment and trauma-informed practices. So on our slide here, we have 2 visuals displayed that represent some of the methodologies that we use to approach school safety. First, we apply an integrated collaborative approach that operates on the paradigm that expertise should be shared and that planning should be collaborative and aligned at all levels for the common purpose of creating a safe learning environment for students. Second, as you see on the second image, our prevention, protection, and assessment process is cyclical. We put in place capabilities to avoid, deter, and stop threats and incidents, as well as measures to mitigate and protect against the impact of serious incidents and emergency, including violent acts and natural disasters. We implement response measures to stabilize an emergency should it occur, and then recover to assist those affected by an event, as well as restore the learning environment. We have two types of plans. First, the district-wide emergency response plan, which is discussed today, is a public document. It facilitates the coordination and continuity among our schools and ensures collaboration with law enforcement and emergency responders. On the other side, we have our building level response plan, which is a confidential document. It's building specific, and the building response plan is carried out by a building level response team, a BLERT, which is comprised of our school building representatives, principal, other administrators, teachers, parents, and support personnel. It's worth noting that our principals and administrators attend what's referred to as the ICS Incident Command System Training through the Department of Homeland Security, which is designed for our principals and administrators who serve as the incident commander for their respective buildings. Additionally, the building level response plan includes an explanation of the function of the various responses to incidents, so which can include evacuation, shelter in place, which refers to often severe weather in which you're avoiding the outdoors, a hold in place in which you're trying to limit the movement of students in a hallway for short-term emergencies so emergency services can enter the building. We have lockdowns, and then lastly, a secure lockdown, which is a new term which has been proposed as an amendment to our regulations to avoid some of the challenge or confusion that can occur when a lockdown is called versus a lockout. So a new terminology that was brought forward is the use of the term secure lockout, which will be something that will go into effect in 2025. Our district-wide school safety team is appointed by the Board of Education and is also comprised of Board of Education members, teachers, administrators, parents, students, clericals, school monitors, custodians, school safety personnel, as well as local law enforcement. Here's a quick snapshot of all the individuals in our administrators, members of our staff and faculty, students, parents who participate on our district-wide emergency response team. And our district-wide emergency response plan has several components that need to be covered. We provided some excerpts here. The state provides guidance to all districts, including a resource packet, a self-assessment checklist, which includes, and if you recall from that first cyclical image, prevention, mitigation, protection, response, and recovery. Some of what is discussed on this slide is going to be addressed in our following slides, where we'll dig a little bit deep into these components.
So when we focus on prevention, we're analyzing the capabilities necessary to avoid, deter, and stop any imminent threat or incident. This does include ongoing assessment of our school community and addressing the safety needs before, during, and after an incident may occur. We collaborate with our law enforcement officials to support training of our security staff, as well as provide a series of annual trainings that I'll refer to in our next slide. Building walkthroughs are conducted annually, which includes building administration and our local law enforcement. Specifically, we have implemented a few different programs and supports for our students and our staff members. We have character development programs, which include both Harmony and the Olveus Bullying Prevention Program. In addition, advisory and wellness classes focus on safety training for our students. Some of the units that could be covered within any of these programs include diversity, inclusion, empathy, critical thinking, communication, and problem solving. In the 23-24 school year, we also trained 144 staff members in our crisis prevention, which is from our Crisis Prevention Institute by 3 internal trainers that we have here. This school-wide training program focuses and unpacks specifically the latest neuroscience and research to help our educators build a more positive, supportive learning environment and prevent disruptive behavior within it. We have no less than 12 trained staff members per building, many of the largest buildings having many more members trained. Additionally, with the support of you, the Board of Education, Dr. Rogers, and Dr. Curry, we've developed a threat assessment team in the district, which is co-chaired by myself and Mr. Kevin Bonanno, the principal of H.B. Thompson Middle School. A threat is an expression of intent to do harm or act out violently against someone or something. All of the team members on this threat assessment team went through intense 3-day training with Dr. Kostas Kastabakis, who is a clinical and forensic psychologist and is also an expert in threat assessment and management. He has over 25 years of experience conducting behavioral threat assessments, forensic evaluations, as well as clinical assessments and treatment for juveniles and the adult population. While 18 states currently require districts to develop threat assessment policies and procedures, only 9 states require an actual threat assessment team. New York State is not one of them. However, we're ready. Our mental health teams are up to date on implementing risk assessments as well, if there's ever a cause to do so. And we continue to utilize an anonymous reporting systems through the Sandy Hook Promise. Our IT department, which is headed by Ms. Christine Payne, is diligent in ongoing digital and online monitoring of all school devices and anything that goes through our school networks. We continuously keep informed of the best practices and updated regulations. This year, both Mr. Karanishi and I attended the New York State Safety Summit and will continue to ensure that we remain engaged in future updates and recommendations that will come our way. As I mentioned before, all faculty and staff complete annual compliance trainings, many which occur during our first faculty meeting of the school year. Many of our faculty have to attest that they've read and have been trained on the district-wide and building-level emergency response plans. The appliance training modules are also listed above. There's a mandatory mental health training that's completed in person by our mental health teams in each of our buildings. And new this year is workplace violence prevention training. That is a new update to legal regulations that we need to make sure we implement, which includes creating a policy, doing a risk assessment, implementing a prevention program, and providing yearly training, as well as developing and sustaining record-keeping procedures. We also review our district's code of character, conduct, and support, which applies to students as well as staff and community members. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, New York State has also proposed amendments to regulations when it comes to the implementation of trauma-informed drills. Trauma, it's an emotional response to a deeply distressing or disturbing experience, which can include an act of violence, natural disaster, abuse, neglect, or loss. Trauma-informed means an understanding of what trauma is and how it might affect someone through their physical, emotional, or mental health. Therefore, trauma-informed drills means to avoid tactics in any of the trainings that we go through or drills that we conduct that may induce or activate a trauma of some kind, including the use of props, actors, simulations, or other tactics that are intended to mimic an incident of violence. We have always implemented our drills in this manner. Drills will continue to be conducted during the school day with students present through a trauma-informed lens, developmentally and age-appropriate. It's always the district's top priority to focus our efforts on responding, contacting, and communicating any concerns with faculties and family. When we are informed of a possible threat, our building level teams immediately jump into action and share information with appropriate parties. If there's a student concern, our mental health team will work directly with that student and family. If there is an actual threat, investigation begins immediately with appropriate parties contacted and communicated with. Community notifications are also shared when it comes to state disaster emergencies, which can include communicable diseases.
Components of our safety plan are expected and must include effective coordination with our emergency services and resources, including disaster preparedness. So in the event of an emergency, there is an important component. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Sorry. In the event of an emergency, it's important that we immediately correspond and contact 911, our local law enforcement and fire department. We coordinate with the Department of Homeland Security, as I mentioned before, as well as the Nassau County Emergency Management Office and the Department of Mental Health. Our building level emergency response teams kick into action and follow their plans at the building level. And we also ensure that we utilize appropriate school personnel, including our school nurses and our security team. Additionally, we have to assess, improve, and document. So we conduct and assess preparedness through our drills. We have 12 drills each year. 8 must be conducted prior to December 1st. We work to evaluate and improve our communication with students and families, also in collaboration with our Public Information Officer, Philly Heffron, Ms. Heffron. And part of what we have is a multi-layered approach to communication. We use email, phone, and then internally, walkie-talkies. We have mobile Wi-Fi hotspots, et cetera, that we use. We also ensure that, and we have to ensure that every staff member in a school building is trained and has a role in the case of an emergency. Additionally, we have to establish criteria for screening and hiring our security personnel, and so we're very fortunate to have such a dedicated security team in districts. And it's largely one component of our hiring process is hiring former law enforcement to serve as guards on our security team. We've instituted many proactive building level measures, namely since prior to my arrival in 2018, there have been many measures put into place, one of which has been the electronic automatic classroom door locks. We have protocols in place, including ensuring that our exterior doors remain locked at all times, that we have a visitor management system. So visitors enter through the main entrance, they sign in, they wear visible identification, they have limited access to areas of the building. Security are stationed at the entrance of each school to ensure visitor management procedures are followed, but we also have security who navigate the building and ensure that there are other points that are checked throughout the building as well. Security attend to the building traffic flow, and all staff, including myself, many of us that are in the room, are required to wear visible identification badges at all times, regardless of their position. So our timeline. So today, we are reviewing the district-wide safety plan, which is part of our public hearing. And starting tomorrow, July 9th through August 16th, we'll have our 30-day comment period in which the safety plan can be reviewed, which will be posted online. And we can receive comment, and in my next slide, I'll present how our public can comment on the plan. August 26th, we will present the district safety plan to you, the board, for adoption. And then the following day, a quick turnaround, the approved district plan will be posted on the district website. The plan must also be submitted to the Department of Education, as well as shared with our local law enforcement as well. The public can send any comments on our safety plan via email at security@syossetschools.org. And as a final note, Dr. Rogers often describes his and the district's and our responsibilities in a 6-word statement. He'll say, keep them safe, make them smart. And I hope this presentation and the work of our district demonstrates just how serious we take the first statement, the first half of that statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the team for the presentation. And this is definitely a very comprehensive plan, and I do feel very, very safe. Okay, are there any questions from the board for Dr. Park?
Hi, thank you. I have 3 questions. First is in the proactive building level measures, closing of the doors being remained locked at all times. Does it apply to after school hours as well?
Yes.
And second is, I remember Dr. Rogers telling me, I forgot the time, how many minutes does it take for the law enforcement to come to our schools?
I don't have that figure.
I think a different way of answering and asking that
Sure.
question would be, when we work with law enforcement, they have a way of responding to us that supersedes 911, so they have a faster response. Their response will depend on what they're engaged in at the time and where their resources are relative to the school district. But the way we work with them is we know that we control the first 2 to 3 minutes in any kind of a crisis, they control the minutes after that. So our job is to do the best work in delaying and slowing anything that's occurring in the minutes that belong to us, in the seconds that belong to us. We're going to slow things down. We're going to make it hard to get in. We're going to slow the movement through the building. Our job is to soak up as much of those minutes that we own as possible so that their response can be here and be effective. So I don't want to give a number because that also will be a number that someone will say, that's a number I can think of as my time. So I don't want to give a number specifically, but we have worked with them, and a lot of the work that we've done with them has been asking where are there seconds that we can shave off of their time, and where are there places where we can add seconds of safety to our time so that we hopefully meet in the middle if there is an incident of some kind. Sorry.
And the last one is clarifying the slide with trauma-informed practices. Is that for teachers to be trained, or is it also for the students to be
So when it comes to trauma-informed, it's meaning that whatever drill we're implementing, it's done through a lens of trauma-informed. So that we are not conducting a drill that could induce trauma in someone. So that would mean that we might provide notification to the staff members and to the students that they're aware that it is a drill that's happening, and we're not inducing a response from them because of that.
Are there any more? Oh, Mr. Ostrick.
Just two quick things. One, could you refresh my memory? Sometimes I get it confused. The difference between a risk assessment and a threat assessment and when those would be applied?
So we look to risk when it's more of a self-harm. So if we have a student who is displaying a concern to us of some way, and we want to do an evaluation on them to determine what that level of risk is for their harm. A threat assessment is looking at the ability or the threat of violence that may occur. So it's more outward toward others than inward toward self.
And they're performed at which stage of the process?
So it really depends on what the situation is. You know, when it comes to students who might be, we're concerned about their own mental health or what their actions may be to themselves, then we do have a risk assessment tool that all of our mental health providers are trained in utilizing, and we actually have streamlined that this year, this past school year. So all of our mental health professionals are utilizing the same risk assessment tool. The threat assessment tools that we do have are dependent upon your age level, so what age group you're in, and that is done if we are concerned about more of a violence that can happen to a larger scale, so something that might be happening towards someone else. So it really depends on the reporting of what is going on, and if it's something that's more internally based for an individual student, our mental health teams will jump in. If it's something that's going to be more concerning and a violent or threat that might be exposed to a group of individuals, an individual, or a school at large, that's when our threat assessment picks up.
And I just said one other thing, Dr. Rogers. The notifications protocols that we are giving to parents during various incidents that we may be, the district may be going through lockdowns, lockouts, et cetera. Is there a way that we can have that readily accessible, sent to parents, reflected, and sent to them more often, that they can locate it, that they understand what their roles are during emergencies? There are a lot of new parents that cycle into the district every year, where those are available, and to make sure that it's easily accessible so that we don't have an incident where we have dozens of parents showing up at the school at the wrong time, just keeping the communication as clear as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Before the pandemic, we worked with the PTA's School and Community Committee to outline sort of a one-page, when this happens, this is how you'll be notified. When that happens, this is what you should do. But it hasn't been updated recently, and certainly not since we've done a lot of this other planning work. So I think we can revisit that document, and having an audience of parents look at it with us might be helpful to making sure that it's a useful document for them.
especially if we can get it in time for back to school as part of a handout packet when parents are re-enrolling.
Are there any more questions? Okay, thank you. And we are going to have the audience to the public just on this topic, the district-wide school safety plan. So if there's any members of the community who wish to come up to to ask questions about it, and you may do so at this time. Okay, all right, this closes the audience to the public on the district-wide school safety plan. Okay, moving on to the next agenda. 6A and 6B can be taken together, and that's the...
I have my report.
Oh, wait, minutes and then...
Oh, you're right, sorry.
Okay. All right, so that's the approval of minutes of June 10th, 2024, and June 20th, 2024 board meetings. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Dr. Rufo, can we have the treasurer's report and appropriations adjustments, please?
Okay, as indicated in the treasurer's report, the cash on hand for the month end May 2024 was $133,228,442.10. It also shows that bank balances for all cash accounts were reconciled to the book balances and were collateralized in accordance with the district's banking agreements and investment policy.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rufo. And 7A is the treasurer's report. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? And 7B is the appropriation adjustments. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? And then next will be Dr. Rogers' superintendent's report.
I was so excited about my report, I wanted to jump ahead in the agenda. I apologize. So at the last board meeting, obviously we've been working at something of an accelerated clip on some additional facilities projects that the board has asked us to research. So I just want to finalize the work that we've done. We've done more of a deep dive to review, and just want to bring my presentation up here, and then I'll take us through it. I've tried it both ways. In the presumptive on spot and in the presumptive off. Now they are. There, now it's working. So at the last meeting, we talked about the additional scope of work that the board wanted us to explore and move forward with. We did a deep dive into the building plans in order to identify any of the implications of the siting of each of the larger parts of the changes to the plans. One of the things that we talked about at the last meeting was the advantage in the Bayless reconfiguration was not needing to replace the portables that have reached the end of their life, but in order to decommission those portables altogether, we would have to create classroom space by moving things internally in the building. So there is a cost associated with that. We won't necessarily save the entire cost of the portable replacement project. We still have the demolition costs and these relocation costs internally, but it is better and more effective use of the property, and the rooms internally will be used for better purposes. So I think it will be a benefit to the building after the reconfiguration is done. With the Robbins Lane Gym, I showed you a drawing last meeting where we were trying to locate it close to the existing gymnasium. There's obviously some advantages to doing that. But it turns out that there are a lot of things underneath the soil near there that would require extensive amounts of money to relocate, and you'd spend a lot of money and not get any benefit for kids out of all the money that you would spend. So it just didn't seem to be an effective use of resources. So better location is the picture that's here. And while it's not immediately adjacent to the existing gym, it's still on the same overall corridor as the existing gym, and this would require much less relocation of utilities for the building, and so you'd save some costs there. So these will be the designs that, should the public approve, we'll move forward with these. We'll continue to refine these designs and obviously look for opportunities to try to value engineer these and make them less expensive when the time comes to actually perform construction. So as I said, there were some other costs that we identified that would go into these projects, additional electrical capacity because we're adding almost 8,000 square feet of space, and so there's going to be some additional load on the electricity. Sprinkler systems, when we touch large spaces in the buildings, they have to be brought up to current day code. The spaces are grandfathered as they currently are, but the new code requires that they have sprinkler systems in large spaces. Those are expensive because they require pumping systems. And as we're moving in the direction of revamping cafeterias and kitchens, the kitchen equipment does have a cost associated with it and the plumbing that's necessary to make it go. As I said with Robbins Lane, we changed the location of the gym in order to minimize some design costs. At Bayless, we had the costs associated with the internal relocations. And then as we thought more about all of the 4 gym projects, elementary gym projects, we were originally thinking that we would net them out of the gym air conditioning project because we'd be building a new gym that has air conditioning in it. But because the old gym space would be used for a cafeteria purpose, it makes sense to air condition that space because right now all of the cafeterias are air conditioned, so you wouldn't want to go backwards to a non-air conditioned space for cafeterias. So we would recommend not eliminating that scope of work but maintaining it. And as you may be aware, there's a piece of legislation that has passed both houses of the legislature. The governor has not signed or vetoed it yet. It's still pending. But it would require school districts to take mitigating activities in the case of spaces in schools that are hot. So I think what all that means is that we're moving in a direction where there's just going to need to be more and more air conditioning in all school spaces. And so this moves you that much closer to that situation with 4 more of your buildings, and it chips away at the work of getting more air conditioning into more buildings. I had the opportunity today to walk the South Grove property with the building principal, Ms. Ahn. We talked about how this loop would function practically in the building, if there were any refinements to the design that we could think of. I think we have a good plan for how it would probably function on a daily basis, and we think there probably would be some staffing efficiencies achieved by consolidating the arrival in one place. So that will be something that will be an advantage to the building. So this idea is improving with age as we look at it and see how it would function. I'm just repeating this slide from the previous presentation to illustrate that all of the buildings have, all of the elementary buildings have some significant work going on in each of them. And then just because this will be posted online and we will start, literally as soon as tomorrow morning, the process of getting Proposition 1, Proposition 2 prepared for public consideration. I just wanted to put this into the presentation so that it was available online. And we've been showing on the first line here $2.34 million as an offset to the project. That offset is coming because some of the visual inspection work that is called out by the architects is contained within the existing Phase 2 bond that is already out there. So that work will be completed through our existing bond. And so it's not a net against this, but the work is netted against this. So It doesn't change what the total is at the bottom, but it's a different way of illustrating how it's getting done. And just for clarity's sake, so that we're more precise about the sources of funding for each of those projects. And then this is Proposition 2 after the refinements that we worked on in the past week to bring to you. So this gives you a sense of all of the propositions. And I didn't put a slide for it, but I'll just go through and remind the board about the timeline. So the process will start with a 30-day period where we check with any other local government to see if they want to declare themselves the lead agency for purposes of SECRA, that's the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Assuming no one will want to take on the responsibility of being the lead agent for SECRA, you, the board, will declare yourself to be the lead agent for SECRA, which is what you typically do for any facilities project. But because of the size of this project, we have to provide other nearby local municipal entities with the opportunity to volunteer to do it. So that takes 30 days. So that will bring us, so tomorrow morning we will issue that letter to all of the appropriate municipalities. That will start the clock on the 30 days. That clock will expire on August 7th, and then that will put you in a position August 8th to adopt the final scope of work, declare yourself the lead agency for SECRA, set the date for a bond vote, and then that would put you in the time frame of having, let's say, an October 1 vote, because you need 45 days from the date that you adopt the propositions and declare yourself the lead agency under SECRA. So that's the rough time frame that we've sketched out. I saw that H2M has completed the work that's necessary to do the lead agency letter, and that was completed today. So obviously we want to report to you, the board, first, but assuming that we're still moving ahead with the scope of work as outlined, that letter is ready to go first thing in the morning, and we're still on schedule for our timeline.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rogers, for the presentation. Are there any questions for Dr. Rogers? Okay, Mr. Greco.
Dr. Rogers, your proposed scope of work elementary slide, the bus loop, that's going to be in Prop 1 now, right? And when you were describing the AC, I think the AC is still listed as being in Prop 2. All air conditioning is now going to be in Prop 1, including the former gym spaces at the two.
We moved the gym air conditioning into Prop 1. So what is, oh, yes. Sorry, that was sloppy on my part. This is the slide that matters, and I should have updated this by moving the gym AC into Prop 1. I missed that. This was recycled. That's okay. This was recycled from the last presentation. I was putting it in here to illustrate that every building was getting work, but you're right, the gym AC would be moved into Proposition 1 now. So I'll correct that before we post it online.
But really what my question is that there's going to be AC now at obviously the two new gyms, or the four new gyms, but the prior gym space in those buildings, what you were describing before, are now going to get AC. All of that AC is in Prop 1. Or only, because what happens if Prop 2 was unsuccessful? You'll now have none of those four gyms being built, but you'll still get the AC in Prop 1 into the existing gyms.
That's correct. So if Proposition 2 does not pass, all of the gyms so that would be 6 elementary schools, South Grove already has air conditioning, and both middle schools would all get one air-conditioned gym. So HPT has 2 gyms, one of them would be air-conditioned. South Grove has a main gym and then a small room that's like a wrestling auxiliary gym that would not get air-conditioned, but the main gym would be. So if Proposition 2 doesn't pass, we wouldn't construct the new gyms, but the existing gyms would get AC.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions for Dr. Rogers? Okay, all right, so we will meet back on August 8th to do a public meeting to 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 adopt the final scope of work. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next item. There are no legislative items, no discussion items, and no unfinished business, and we are going to conduct a new business. 12A is the approval of the appointment of staff changes. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12B is the approval of 2024-2025 stipends and hourly rates. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12C is the appointment of a certified athletic trainer. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12D is the approval of unaligned staff employment agreements 2024-2025. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All, okay, Mr. Ostrick.
So buried in the list of folks is we have, I think, a part-time BCBA for the summer. My question isn't so much about the part-time BCBA so much as it's about our BCBA resources across the district as a whole on a full-time basis. So I know we've moved to having social workers in every building. My question is whether or not we have a view about whether or not there's a bottleneck in BCBA services that we're getting resource for the summer and just generally across the district during the year, if that's something that we may need to be looking at.
It is, and in a minute I'll turn it over to Ms. Goldthwait to go into more detail. So the BCBAs in the district are fairly recent for us. We hired one and then we quickly hired a second, I'm going to guess around the 2018 timeframe. So we have one who specializes in elementary age students and one who specializes in secondary age students. And what we've seen post-pandemic is the number of behaviors that need attenuation and the number of extreme behaviors has really increased markedly. So that has put a lot of pressure on the staffing. So one thing Ms. Goldthwait has done very successfully is identified an opportunity for us to serve a group of students that might have previously been served outside of the school district on a tuition basis, but we're going to be able to serve them on campus ourselves, and that will make it cost effective for us to hire additional BCBA resources that will be serving that group, but will also be a resource that's available to the rest of the school district. So by identifying this opportunity to serve students better, we're also able to staff up more. And so I'll turn to her and say, you know, how close does this get us to making sure that we have enough resources to serve all of the kids in need? But this is an opportunity that's going to allow us to go +1 this year on top of the 2 that we already have. So, Ms. Goldthwait.
So you kind of answered the question, but yes. So if you'll notice, one of the individuals that is on the agenda, her name's Elise McGuire, is going to be our additional BCBA for the district. She's going to be working collaboratively with the 2 current BCBAs that we do have right now. She's listed as a special education teacher just because New York State doesn't have a certification area for a BCBA. So what we do is look to see what other certification areas those individuals have, and then that's how we hire them as a certified staff member. So we do have that staff member who was in the agenda for today. And will hopefully be appointed today, and that will help really split, you know, Mr. McCabe, who was shared between 7 elementary school buildings, will reduce that in half. So we will be able to have a little bit more of a clear designation of support for students, particularly in those that require the specialty areas of a behavior analyst.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12E is the appointment of coaching recommendations, fall 2024, and approval of additional pay for spring 2024. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 12F is the appointment of elementary principal revised. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 13A is the approval of settlement agreement. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14A and 14B can be taken together. They're the approval of the Committee on Special Education Recommendations and the Committee on Preschool Special Education Recommendations. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, second by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14C is the appointments of the Committee on Special Education. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 14D is the appointments to out-of-district subcommittee on special education. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15A is the establishment of school and public library tax levies for the Syosset Central Schools District 2024 to 2025. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15B is the acceptance of audit reports year-end December 31st, 2023. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15C is the authorization for adjustments to budgetary reserves. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15D is the authorization to participate in New York Island Cooperative bid. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15E is the authorization of service contracts. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15F is the authorization to enter into data security and privacy agreements and amendments. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15G is the authorization to enter into amendments to license agreements and other agreements with Apple Inc. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15H is the authorization to enter into agreement for transportation contracts for field trips and other individual events. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15I is the approval of bond motion Nassau BOCES projects 16-917631. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15J is the approval of resolution of the Board of Education for Syosset Central School District. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15K is the authorization to standardize purchase. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15L is the authorization for board members, superintendent, and designated staff to attend conferences and meetings. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Parr, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15M is the authorization for participation in Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15N is the authorization for award Nassau County Director of School Facilities Purchasing Consortium Cooperative Bids 24-25 Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15O is the acceptance of donations of funds and appropriation of funds. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 15P is the disposal of broken, surplus, and/or obsolete equipment, supplies, and books. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 16A is the award of bids for Food Service Management Program 2024-2025. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? You had a question? Oh, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. 16B is the award of bids for preventive maintenance of cogeneration systems 24-25. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17A is the authorization to participate in a co-op CDW Government LLC. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17B is the authorization to enter into a cooperative Omnia HD Supply Facilities Maintenance LTD contract 22-07 cleaning supplies. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17C is the authorization to enter into a co-op Omnia maintenance, repair, operating, industrial supplies, and related products. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17D is the authorization to enter into a co-op Omnia janitorial and sanitation supplies, equipment, and related services, City of Tucson. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17E is the authorization to participate in a co-op SHI International Corp. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17F is the authorization to participate in a cooperative county of Onondaga. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17G is the authorization for piggybacking City of New Rochelle. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17H is the authorization for piggybacking Southampton Union Free School District Library supplies. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17I is the authorization for piggybacking Southampton Union Free School District Science supplies. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Koshia, seconded by Dr. Park. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17J is the authorization for piggybacking Southampton Union Free School District school supplies. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Mr. Ostrick. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17K is the authorization to enter into a co-op Omnia Trans-US Inc. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 17L is the authorization to participate in a co-op Omnia WW Granger. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 18A is the authorization for construction change order G01 M&N Construction Services. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Abramson. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 19A is the authorization for special education and/or nursing contracts. Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Greco, seconded by Ms. Levitan. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? 19B is the authorization for health services. Can I have a motion, please? Dr. Park, seconded by Ms. Koshia. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? No one has signed up for audience to the public, so this will conclude our July organizational and the regular meeting for the Board of Education. And I just want to wish everyone a safe and relaxing summer, and see you back in August. Thank you.